When Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th, 2025, I really thought that Brandon Tatum was sincerely upset that he was hurt. And he was one of the guys that was making videos about Charlie Kirk on his behalf. He was crying. He was even calling out other people for being fake, most notably Nick Fuentes and also Myron Gaines. And again, he had me fooled until the YouTuber Saint in the Center presented this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
He already deep into character.
I know some of you guys may have heard the news.
This guy is the worst. This guy is the worst.
You know, I haven't watched video.
You care.
People have said that they're.
I didn't look at it this way, but the Saint in the Center picked up on something that was important. He said that all of this was fake, that Brandon Tatum really did not care about Charlie Kirk. Now, upon listening to this at first, it's like, no, Saint in the Center doesn't even know Officer Tatum. He doesn't know Charlie Kirk, so he could not be right about this. Or could he? Then after, we would find out some things, like Brandon Tatum was not allowed to speak at Charlie Kirk's memorial. And then Brandon Tatum would also go on to talk about his own personal issues.
So I was not invited to any of the Turning Point Faith events, which I'm one of the biggest Christians in the movement right now that stand up for Jesus Christ on every platform that I've ever been on. But I didn't cry and say, I said, you know what? I understand, man. God gave me a platform that's bigger than any platform you can give me anyway. So I can do my own Christian stuff on my own platform. I'm not tripping, bro. I'll still do the thing because I care about the kids. I care about the young people. I'm on campus with these young people. I see the sacrifice they make. I'm on campus. I will support them forever.
He's saying here, I wasn't invited to Turning Points USA's Christian Summits, even though I'm one of the biggest Christians out there in the movement. It's just not fair. It doesn't make any sense that I'm not even being invited. But you know what? I didn't say nothing. I just took it on the chin. And then he continues.
And Charlie Kirk, I didn't like the fact that they did that. I was upset with Charlie Kirk over that, but I never talked to him about it, so it wasn't a big deal. If I really was mad enough, I would have called him. But I was like, it's all right, man. If they don't want me to speak because of something else, when they got Tucker up here talking bad about Jews, I said it is what it is. That's not my place. I don't run the organization. If I don't like it, I don't have to work with them. But I do love Charlie, and I do love what Turning Point stands for. So I say I'm going to work within the capacity that God has called me to do, and whatever I can do to support and serve.
He continues on his own mission saying that, hey, I was mistreated. But, at the same time, he would go on to say Tucker Carlson was invited to the summits. And then that makes sense because Tatum, for whatever reason, strongly dislikes Tucker Carlson. He considers Tucker Carlson to be an anti-Semite, even though Tucker Carlson is the person that spoke at the funeral, and Brandon Tatum was not allowed to speak at the funeral, meaning that Tucker Carlson had a stronger relationship with both Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. So he does feel slighted. Now you got to remember, Brandon Tatum was one of the first blacks on the right that got popular, that was with Blexit, that helped Charlie Kirk reach out into a lot of the black conservative communities. And then he was left out, and he felt that he was left out because certain sponsors didn't want him out. But why do they want Brandon Tatum out?
Brandon Tatum still doesn't want to answer the phone. Like Vicky, he's in denial. He's like Vicky. Vicky still doesn't want to answer the phone. Brandon Tatum doesn't want to answer the phone. Brandon Tatum is like, I'm one of the biggest Christians. We're Christians. We're all Christians. Why didn't you invite me? Because I'm a Christian. You're a Christian. He's a Christian. We're all Christians. But Brandon, it's not about being a Christian. It's about being black, my son.
Woo! I want to give a shout out to the brother on TikTok, the.original.god. He's making some really good content. Go check him out because he definitely be building it up. And he continues on why that's the case.
See, Brandon, you can marry all the white women you want to. You can have all the kids by white women you want to. You never going to be white.
You see, he told Brandon Tatum, no matter what you do, you're never going to be white. You're always going to be the black guy. And if you look at what Brandon Tatum does, he's not the kind of guy that's really controversial. I mean, he's married. He has a white wife. In fact, both of his kids, maybe his mamas, are by white women. So he checks off that box. He's not confrontational within the right unless you're going after Israel or you're on the left. So that would be the issue. But I noticed something. Brandon Tatum didn't just start feeling slighted. He actually started taking shots at Charlie Kirk. Remember the time when Charlie Kirk lost a $2 million donorship? And this was like 48 hours before he passed away. You know, he said, hey, I've lost a $2 million donor to Israel. I'm about done with Israel. I'm finna walk, okay? When these texts came out through Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum was saying, listen, those texts should not be allowed to be out there. And the reason why they shouldn't be out there is simply because Charlie Kirk can't defend himself. But then some of the animosity started to come out.
But if I were to say, well, let's have an investment or investors, and an investor says, okay, Brandon, I really like what you're doing, man. I like how you stand up for Israel. I like what you do for law enforcement. I like how you're conservative. And I want to give you $2 million a year for the next 5 years to help you build your platform and help you build your company. And then year 2, I start platforming people who are anti-Semitic. I start giving credence to people who are saying things that are antithetical to the mission in which the donor started or the investor started with me on. And investors say, look, man, I don't want to invest in this anymore. Why am I going to get mad at him?
There you have Brandon Tatum, a man, a quote unquote close friend of Charlie Kirk, dissing Charlie Kirk, saying, hey, it's your fault why you lost the donorship. Just before then, he was saying in this same video that we shouldn't be talking about it because Charlie Kirk couldn't defend himself. And then I started to figure out what the real issue is. You see, guys, Brandon Tatum did something that was really, really silly, in my honest opinion. And he's actually clapping back to D.L. Hughley, and I was researching this video for that. And then as I was watching the video, this came up.
But one thing that you guys don't realize is that once you are done with your life and you can't bring in income anymore, that's detrimental to a person's family. Charlie Kirk had a show that was tremendously successful. It's a dog-eat-dog world. They're not finna keep his show going. They're gonna cut his show after probably another week or so, and they're gonna put somebody else in that spot. You're talking millions of dollars coming into his family that's no longer there. Unrealized gains. Charlie Kirk probably would have wrote 40 more books. Charlie Kirk should have lived another 50 years. And his children and his wife are not going to have that unrealized gain from Charlie Kirk's legacy moving forward. So this is a contributing option for us that love him, that really love him, and that care about his family.
Wait a minute. There's more.
This is a way that you can do it. Go to tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com.
So wait a minute. Hold on. The Officer Tatum is using this BS pity pitch to basically talk about how he wants to raise some money for Charlie Kirk. And, you know, the people at Turning Point USA, what they're going to do is, you know, change his show and all of that. So I said, you know what? Let me go and look at his website. And of course, at his apparel, there's a whole thing made for Charlie Kirk. And he has freedom shirts, Charlie. He even has water bottles, you know, all of these different things, license plate frames, all of these things are for Charlie Kirk. And I said, that's interesting, but that's strange. I mean, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, they've actually been growing since he passed away. When Charlie Kirk passed away, Tucker Carlson went to Give, Sing, Go, and guess what? They raised $5.4 million, okay? This is what he did, and Tucker Carlson seeded $1 million of his own money to do so. So I don't understand the fear tactic that basically I'm seeing here with Brandon Tatum, because his family has $5.4 million, and Turning Point USA is open like 17,000 chapters, something like that. So then the second question was, does Turning Point USA sell their own merchandise? And then it made sense. Yes, I went to Turning Point USA, and guess what? You can buy all of the shirts even cheaper, and it would go directly to Charlie Kirk. and it's cheaper, okay? It's literally there. So what this means is if Brandon Tatum really wanted to help Charlie Kirk's family, then the question remains, why didn't he just link this directly into this description? You want to know why? The way that Officer Tatum is going to get revenge on Charlie Kirk is to basically get sales from his t-shirts and all of that and keep it for himself. Because you want to know what? There is no way anybody can find out how much money they're going to be spending on Charlie Kirk's t-shirts. In my honest opinion, it is a scam. Okay, and it just goes to show you that the saint in the center was right about Brandon Tatum. This man don't care nothing about Charlie Kirk at all. This man, in my honest opinion, strongly dislikes Charlie Kirk or has some level of hatred for Charlie Kirk. Because if it was my friend and I really wanted to raise money for his family, number one, I would never get a t-shirt made of him. Again, listen, Kevin Samuels passed away. You never saw me getting any kind of t-shirts made of him, trying to monetize his community or monetize his fan base. None of that, all right? If they needed me to share that link so you can donate exactly to them, that's exactly what I would have done, all right? Because it's only fair. If Brandon Tatum really loved Charlie Kirk, why are you selling memorabilia in his name and you keeping the money? Why can't the money just go to him? Oh, because you don't trust Turning Point? So basically, wait a minute, you're gonna be a middleman t-shirt person, so we can pay you for a higher shirt and then you're gonna go ahead and give the money to Charlie Kirk's family?
Stop the cap.
Hell no, you're not gonna give the money to Charlie Kirk's family. Because again, if you did, you would basically say, listen, I wanna give an ad for Turning Point USA, go support them, all right? And it would supersede your emotions that you have for them because they played you. But you don't want to do that. You made a specific ad in the break of your videos because you're going to keep all that money. Let me tell you about influencers. Influencers will never stop the middle of their video to make their own ad to give the money to somebody else. They would never do that. Charlie Kirk already has a lot of money, more money than Brandon Tatum could ever have. In fact, Charlie Kirk's money was what was funding Brandon Tatum to a certain point outside of YouTube. So Brandon Tatum is basically trying to scam his audience with doing this. And it's wrong. It's actually wrong. I can't even believe right now I'm speaking up on the behalf of Charlie Kirk, but it is 100% wrong. And it is shady. He should never do that. If you love this guy so much, take the man's image and his stuff away from your clothing line. Then promote Turning Point USA, where his family will get the money. That's how we know you love them, okay? They don't need you to be the middleman for their money. You're making money off this man's image because that's how you're gonna get your payback. If he sells 400 or 500 shirts, he's gonna make $25,000. And that's gonna be the payback for Charlie Kirk not letting him onto the stage. It's how it works, okay? That's black conservatism for you, right?
Woo!
So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.